Are you capable of doing that job? Certainly am. Check out this PDF. It's not full of lies, I swear. Welcome to Simplified Sparky Marketing. I was asked the other day what my opinions are of capability statements. And I said there's a time and a place for capability statements, and I personally do not use one, or nor have I ever used one in my electrical business. Now, with capability statements, it's horses for courses. Where a capability statement works, or you're meant to have one, or it's good to have, is predominantly when you are working for builders, dare I say it, commercial, real estate strata. That is really where a capability statement comes into play. Now, do you need one if you're doing residential service and maintenance? In my opinion, you can add one if you want. Are they necessary? Absolutely not. Do what you please with that. Use one, don't use one. I don't really fucking care. I don't use it in my electrical business, and I have just different methods that I use for credibility, my own capability. I don't say to my members to use them either because I don't, so I practice what I preach. Now, what I would suggest if you are using these capability statements is have tailored capability statements. Everybody's the same generic shit. We're great, we're this, we're that. That's why it's better off because you hand it over to someone like a property manager or a real estate agent or a builder, and they look at it, they size you up, and yeah, it's a level of professionalism. It's a level of this electrician has gone above and beyond to print out this fancy PDF with him and his boys flexing outside the vans and some credibility and so on and so forth. Where these really excel is, let's say, for instance, you're doing commercial fit outs and you've worked for some big dogs like KFC, McDonald's, GYG, like that. If you've done fit outs for those companies and you're wanting to approach a commercial builder and you have got the pictures, like some of the really good pictures you've taken of those stores, and you can flex and go, we've done these stores, what stores can we do for you? That's where I see value in a capability statement. But if you present that to Mrs. Jones and go, check out this fucking PowerPoint we installed for Mrs. Smith, pretty sick, want it installed in your house, it just doesn't have the same effect. It's horses for courses. And again, if you're doing this kind of stuff as well, is I would have different capability statements for different clientele. So if you're going working for a builder, I would, if you're you want to work for another builder, then you would have the other builders' logos on it, or name drop those builders if they're reputable, and flex those builders of, hey, we work with these guys. Do you want us to quote your jobs as well? Likewise, if you want to work with real estates, I'd be putting the other real estates you work with, putting their logos, Ray White, whatever, on it, and basically flexing that you work for them. Because straight away, that's congruency. People look at that and they're like, okay, yeah, like this guy's company's obviously got experience working with these real estates, so he must know the ins and outs, how the whole system works, how these like portals work. Super quick podcast interruption. Hope you're enjoying it. If you check out the show notes attached to this podcast, there are links to find me directly. If you want to work with me, I work with electrical business owners just like you, improving their electrical businesses. If you want a little bit extra to the podcast, there's also a short email series to improve your simplified Sparky marketing flywheel. Back to the podcast. It's going to be easy to work with this person. Whereas if you rock up, knock on the door and walk in there and go, give me some work, that's where a capability may be the point of difference. As I said, for residential, I don't rate it. Now, if you're to make one of these are very simple to make. If you are to stumble across someone's generic form or their generic capability statement, and it looks the part, it looks really good, what I would suggest is copy it, rip it, go and find a freelancer online or somebody that does this and go, I want to make this, but I want to make it better. How can we make it better? Then you provide them with the images, stuff like that, and you can get it easily done. And what I would do is I would get it in a format that's editable, probably on Canva or something like that, where, as I said, you could swap out the builder logos with your commercial logos, that the companies that you've worked with, capability to swap out the images with the different logos of the different businesses. So another major thing with this as well is mostly people print out these fantastic imagery and they look really well, but the words leave them down. You just go with the same generic shit that every other Sparky has of, we're reliable and friendly. local service, family owned. My granddaddy started the company in 94. All those little things that don't really matter, they're irrelevant. You really need to zone in your niche and what's actually going to make this convert when you are presenting it. And secondly to that as well, why I don't like this as well with residential is it provides for another distraction. So let's say hypothetically you were to send your quotation and you were to send other PDFs or whatnot with your quotation. This just provides of another distraction that they're going to be looking at. And it's just, there's no point in adding overwhelming confusion with a residential client, whereas it might be different with a commercial client. If you're just starting out in business as well, it's like, there's no, like, what have you got to be capable of? You know, that's kind of the question of, if you're starting out, you kind of have to build up your reputation. And I suppose if you're wanted to get in with builders and stuff like that, you just may not use a capability statement that maybe you try get a shot with them. As I said, I don't use it for residential, so you don't need it there. But if I always think it is harder if you are solo and you're wanting to go big time with commercial work, strata and stuff like that. To be taken seriously, you nearly need to have a crew of people, unless you're working with bad real estates who just don't pay well and they see you as basically a gold mine because you're going to be not charging them that much. And they will use and abuse you. And then the next guy will come in, cut the legs off you when you realize you're charging too cheap. You're gone, they come in. So there's a time and a place for that. One thing I see as well with the residential versus the kind of commercial space or real estate space when it comes to these statements is it's very me-centric versus client-centric. So with the me-centric, that's where you would be flexing to the builder or commercial strata, whatever, saying like, we're able to do this, we've done this, we've done that, we're great, we're the people for the job. Whereas when it's very client facing for direct to client for residential, you want to be empathetic, you want to be more about the client and saying how you can help them. You don't want to be talking about yourself. And that's why I feel as well that not that much suited towards residential. I know people do use them. A lot of people do flex them, add them to their quotes or whatever. But realistically, the client doesn't really give a shit as long as you can fix their problem. That's just my 2 cents in it. So somebody asked me that the other week, and I just wanted to give my little insight into when to use a capability statement. In my opinion, you can always use one if you want. It's up to you. It's just my 2 cents in the situation because I think there's great logic behind what I just said. And not to stress and be like, I need a capability statement. My quotes are not getting accepted because of my capability statement. It's like your quotes aren't being accepted because you're dropping the ball on the pathway of the client's journey. There's something you're doing that's incorrect. There's something you're doing that they're looking at that's wrong. You could be quoting off of zero and you've got the same generic that the other rookie guy has. All these little things, all these little touch points, it doesn't come down to a capability statement. On proof of that, you don't need a capability statement if you are just doing residential work. But it's up to you. Do what you want to do. If you want more from me, there's links in the description and I'll chat to you next week.